Hello, my name is Tyler McCall with the Center for Presidential History at SMU. Today I'm joined by Dr. Stephanie Hinnershitz with the National World War II Museum. Dr. Hinnershitz, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
If you could give a 15-second teaser for your talk, what would you want our audience to know?
I'm sure you probably have heard of Japanese American incarceration, and even if you've heard of it as Japanese American internment, you might not be as familiar with the labor history of this time period. So I would invite everyone to come to my talk and learn more about how this period isn't really marginalized and it's not on the margins, but it's actually at the center of World War II and American history and how we think about different forms of labor today.
In your book, you also mention how some Japanese American women discovered the unexpected outcome of having more professional opportunities within the prison labor camps and after getting out. Are there any other surprising outcomes that resulted from this period of time that you came across in your research?
Yes, and it is actually tied to this idea of Japanese American women, especially younger women, who are able to break out of some of those paternalistic binds that they had to deal with when they lived beyond the camps with their own family issues. So the same thing carries over to a lot of other Japanese Americans. And there have been other scholars, especially economists, who have studied this. So not necessarily historians, but social scientists who are very interested in what were the long-term consequences of Japanese American incarceration on wages and earning ability, purchasing power. And I've really become interested in that literature because what a lot of social scientists have found is that because there were in some ways more opportunities within the camps for Japanese Americans to have white collar job opportunities, nurses, teachers, doctors, journalists. Some of those opportunities would not necessarily have existed beyond the camps if they would have to compete with white hopefuls or candidates for jobs. There was an opportunity that was opened and they were able to get some earning power that they may not have had before they entered the camps. It does get a little bit tricky though, because it's kind of this artificial environment. So when they're released from the camps, they go settle east, towards the East Coast or in the Midwest. They do have perhaps more earning power, more opportunities than they had before. But many of these Japanese Americans who did or were forced to go into the camps, they had to leave behind successful businesses, careers, all kinds of other opportunities. So to me, I think it was surprising and complicated and really tricky to talk about what opportunities came out of this time period for Japanese Americans, but it is something we have to talk about. And I think it makes this whole context of prison labor a little bit more nuanced.
Well, Dr. Hinnershitz, thank you so much for joining me today, and we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday, April 6th at 6 o'clock p.m.
Great, thank you.